a little bit. And this is an interesting topic. I'm not addicted to TikTok or Instagram Reels, but this is interesting. Why do people actually become addicted to TikTok or anything? Like, let's see.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 6 tips on how to control your TikTok usage that are grounded in actual psychology. Now, I'm using TikTok as the main example in this video, but this advice can also apply to any other app on your phone that you feel like you're spending too much time on. Now,
I think it only applies to, Twitter. I guess you have Twitter. What else do people use? Facebook, maybe. The older people. I don't want to be like rude or anything, but like mostly older people use Facebook. So yeah, I guess you have other social media platforms, but it's mainly social media. Maybe for other people it's games, but games I kind of understand. You have like progress, you're getting better at something, you're learning maybe. Like social media you can also learn, but mostly it's just not learning. Usually it's not really learning anything. It's just brain rot.
inspired to make this video because of you guys. My current most popular video on this channel is TikTok's Addictive Psychology Explained.
What's this picture?
And the comment section of that video is filled with testimonies from you guys.
I don't know what's worse, being a consumer of TikTok or being the content creator. Yeah, because you're also giving people something to consume, so it ends up being a cycle. And the platform itself pays the creators, so it gives them purpose to give the consumers purpose, and it's just a big loop, a big cycle. So yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I said that because if I was to compare social media to drugs, I would say YouTube is like weed or coffee. I can arguably say YouTube is worse in some way. We have people, me example, that cannot eat a meal without something to watch, like YouTube or a movie or a series, anime, etc. So I feel the need to watch YouTube whenever I eat something, and specifically alone. That's a preference. Not even with family or something. Like if I have like a family gathering or something like that, I do watch it with my family. Oh, I don't watch it, I eat with my family. But besides that, I just go to my space, even it's the living room or the office, somewhere, me alone, food, YouTube, and just go by it.
It's telling me how much TikTok has ruined your life and how you're really struggling to take back control of your behavior. For example, look at this comment from Stephanie. Stephanie says, TikTok ruined my grades. I used to be fine, addicted to my phone, but to stop and focus and study. Now it's impossible. It's so addictive, I can't stop. I study for 5 minutes, then go back to TikTok. I'm almost failing all my classes. I just want to stop phone addiction in general. Well, Stephanie, this video is for you and for anyone else who's watching that feels the same way. But why should you listen to me about how to break your TikTok addiction? Well, that's because I'm a behavioral scientist who specializes in the science of habits. And while we call TikTok an addiction, to me it seems more like a strong habit. Now, habits can be just as destructive as addictions, but the distinction is important because it means that if we can classify TikTok addiction as actually a habit, then we can take insights from habit psychology and habit models and then apply them to TikTok behavior, which is where these tips are coming from. So I'm going to go through 6 tips now, starting from the least extreme to the most extreme, and depending on how bad you feel like your problem is, you can pick and choose which insights you think are most appropriate for your level of addiction. Alright, so let's start with tip number 1, which is turn off notifications.
I actually turn off notifications on most apps. I really find it annoying to have just notifications coming in, and my notifications, I have the flash on, so whenever I get a notification, the flash just goes like thunder, and it's really annoying sometimes, but it's really useful other times, when I have the sound off, for example. And it's just annoying to see like oh yeah, this person checked your profile, this person liked your profile or the post on your profile, and it's just really annoying. Why would I care? I don't. I mean, I do care, but I also don't at times. You know, I want some peace on my phone. Do not disturb is the first one option. Second one is turning off the sound. Oh, actually, first option is turning off the notifications for the app. Second is do not disturb. Third is the silent option. And the airplane mode, I guess it's with the second option as well. Really, really useful, so I don't get notifications. For this purpose as well, to not get addicted, but because it's also annoying to have my phone also consuming a lot of battery because of notifications and background running, etc.
For people who only have a small problem with apps like TikTok and other social media,
I actually don't find it hard to like not be addicted to an app. I find it really easy. Just you realize, you just zoom out and you realize, oh, I need to close the app and just move on and go live my life a little bit. And after that, if you create this routine, it might be hard for some people. I don't think it's really hard, but it's achievable. I think so.
Off notifications might be the only tip you need in order to control your usage. That's because when app developers try to get users to build habits of using them, they tend to do so through notifications in the beginning. Pings, little banners, and of course the little badges on the icons act as triggers and cues for you to check that app and open them. We know from habit psychology that if you remove the cue or the trigger to that habit and take it out of people's environment, the chance of them performing that behavior drops quite dramatically. So if your habit of checking TikTok or whatever social media you're using tends to be triggered by notifications, then simply just turn notifications off and you might find that you have a lot more control over how much you use it. Now, turning off notifications is a great first step, but for many of us, we tend to check social media even when we aren't notified to do so. With no badge, no ping, no banner on our phone, and yet we still seem to be picking up our phone and swiping. So if that sounds more like you, then these next 5 tips are going to be more practical. And that brings me to my second.
His shirt is a little bit dirty. I don't know, it might be dust or I don't know.
Tip, which is to hide your phone when you're trying to focus.
Why would I hide my phone from me? How can I hide my phone? Hiding? What's the meaning of the word hide? Like, because if I hide something, isn't that the purpose to keep for me to not knowing where it is? No, it's not. Okay, I get it. I mean, but still, I feel like if it was meant to be hidden, it shouldn't be me hiding the phone, it should be someone else. So at least I don't know where it is. I think I would at least like lose the, I don't know how you say this, but like lose the motivation to find your phone, your own phone. So, and then just go on with your life. And then you ask the person, oh, where did you hide the phone? Oh, it's here. Oh, okay, nice.
For people like Stephanie, TikTok seems to have a big disrupting factor on their ability to study and focus on their important tasks. But you can help yourself focus by hiding the trigger to using your phone, which is often just seeing your phone on the desk. By putting your phone in the drawer or in your bag or simply charging it in another room, you can actually dramatically increase your chance of you being able to focus on what you're doing when you're not being cued by the sight of your phone in front of you. In psychology, we call this practice cue disruption, and it reminds me of a very famous study called the marshmallow experiment. In the marshmallow experiment, little 4-year-old children were told to sit in a room with the marshmallow for 15 minutes, and if they didn't eat the marshmallow in that 15 minutes, then they would be rewarded with a second marshmallow. Now, that part of the study is very famous, and people who are familiar with it will know that, well, as you expect, most of those 4-year-old children fail the test. They can't last the 15 minutes because, well, they're just staring at the marshmallow for the full 15 minutes. But what?
Well, at least they gave the children some things to do, like check what the hell is this paper all about, and the books, I guess. If you had like nothing in this room, I think I would also eat the marshmallow. Like, there's nothing else to do, so why not just eat the marshmallow? Empty wide room, you know, like those, yeah, crazy people room. Yeah,
Many people don't know that that experiment actually had a second condition. And in the second condition, the kids were still stuck in a room with the marshmallow, but the marshmallow was hidden from sight. It was put in a container under the table. Now in this condition, the results were actually reversed, and the majority of children were able to last the full 15 minutes and maintain that self.
What if they made just like, oh, you don't need the marshmallow in the room, and then that there's actually no marshmallow in the room? That would be even better than the second option they gave.
Control. And so when it comes to social media usage, you can think of your phone as the marshmallow. Simply seeing it makes it tempting for you to use it, but by hiding it in a drawer, in your bag, or simply in another room, you're dramatically increasing your chance of being able to last the full 15 minutes and therefore focus for longer. Now, if these light touch cue disruption interventions are not enough, then we need to go a bit harder. So in the next few tips, we're going to be introducing some friction-based interventions in order to help you reduce your usage. And all I mean by friction is simply we're going to be making it harder for you to actually use TikTok, and by doing so we're going to make it less convenient and therefore more likely that you'll be able to control yourself. The first tip to introduce some friction is to turn off automatic login.
How?
To do this on TikTok, you go into Profile, Settings, Save Info Off.
Oh.
And there'll be similar settings on apps like Instagram or whatever else you're struggling with. By turning off automatic login, you're basically making it a hassle every time that you want to check.
Actually, no, because you have those, on the iPhone at least, you have like a passcode, easier to log in, so you just press a button, it scans my face with Face ID, and just logs in, I guess. It's pretty much easy, unless you have 2FA, it's a two-step verification. So unless you have that, it's pretty much easy to just log in, actually.
That app. But if you feel like these apps are taking over your life, then this might be a step that you'd want to consider, because by making it inconvenient every single time, you're reducing the chance that you'll just log in and start swiping automatically. And if having to log in every time doesn't introduce enough friction, then what about having to download it again, which is where tip number 4 comes in.
But doesn't my phone save the information, the login information, when I just delete the app?
Delete it. By deleting the app, you have to re-download it every time you want to use it, log in again with your credentials, which just adds multiple steps and a slight delay every single time you want to use it. And research in psychology shows that when we introduce a delay to a behavior, people act more mindfully when they're thinking about doing it. For example, in a previous study done on an elevator in a hotel, when the slight delay was introduced to the doors in that hotel, meaning that people had to wait to take the elevator, more people started taking the stairs. That slight delay, that slight inconvenience before using it, allowed them to come to a more mindful state and actually decide that maybe taking the stairs is the better option for me. And for many of those people, they made a habit out of taking the stairs. In the same way, by deleting the app and turning off automatic login.
Yeah, because people thought, oh, this is gonna be something that happens every day, the stairs. The stairs doesn't need anything. It's just me doing exercise. I actually might gain from doing the exercise of going up the stairs, and I'm not sure if I want to take more steps just to check if the elevator is working as I want it.
You're adding that delay to using it, meaning that you'll have more control and you're more likely to be using that app mindfully. Now, these last 2 tips that I'm going to give you are the more extreme ones. These are for the people who are really struggling to take back control of their lives. They feel like they can't get anything done and that these social media apps are simply sapping all of the productivity out of their lives. That's where tips 5 and 6 come in. So let's look at them. Tip number 5 is...
How many tips are these already? I feel like he added more tips than it was supposed to. I just heard before this. How many tips has it been? It doesn't really matter, but yeah, sure.
Is get a hobby.
Get a hobby, okay. Scrolling is a hobby.
Now, I know this seems really left field, like how would getting a hobby help with my TikTok problem? But think about it in terms of habits. Very often, our social media habits are triggered not by physical things in our environment, but actually our emotions and the way that we feel in the moment. For example, many of us check Instagram and Facebook when we're feeling lonely, or we start checking TikTok just when we feel slightly bored. These emotional cues are like biological notifications on our phones that cause us to pick them up and start scrolling without thinking about it. So how do we disrupt those emotional cues to the behavior? Well, we can simply eliminate them or make them less likely to happen. For TikTok, many people's habits are tied to the emotion of boredom. If you're bored, you check TikTok, even if only a little bit. So by filling your time with more stuff, by being more busy with other things, you're
Well, first off, I don't know where I can rent to be at this type of golf camp. And second, I don't know if I have the money to rent time just to be here and play. So this is a bad habit for me at least. So what else? I mean, people can play games. The bigger question here is, what do women do? Like, what hobbies do they have? I know men play games, so I don't scroll. I don't go on Instagram scrolling or TikTok. I go play games, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, anything. Yeah, but what do women do? Is it an even bigger question? Like, what do people, females, women, actually do? Like,
less likely to be bored, and therefore that trigger, that cue to using TikTok, that slight bit of boredom in your brain suddenly disappears because you're just simply doing other things. So if you're really struggling with TikTok and you feel that every time you're just a little bit bored you start doing it, I would just sign up for a bunch of stuff. Join some clubs, join a sports team, join something else, start a new hobby, and by doing so, you'll feel less bored. This last tip is the most extreme one, and this is for people who really feel like their smartphone is completely ruining their lives. If you feel like that, then I would actually recommend downgrading to a non-smartphone. Not having a smartphone in modern times is like really inconvenient because so much of our life is dependent on apps that we use. But if you're not having much of a life anyway because these apps on your phone seem to be taking over every aspect of your day, then downgrading might be an option you want to consider. In psychology, we would call this a commitment device. A commitment device is when we lock ourselves into a really inconvenient future because we know it's good for us long term. The famous example of a commitment device from history is the story of Ulysses and the Siren. The Siren.